Welcome to this live stream. Green Kenobi here, and today we have the Black Rose Beach episode. Now, I'm going to discuss a few things before I get into the what if, and one of them is thank you everyone for your support on this series. I never thought this series would blow up as it did. Never in my dreams did I think this was going to get hundreds of views. I was hoping at least 200 views. Y'all blew that out of proportion for me. One of my videos has over 1,000. So thank you. Hello! Darren, I believe. If I pronounce that wrong, I am sorry. Welcome to the live stream. There's also a few things I've been thinking on what to do after this, because truth be told, after this special episode, there will be probably 2 more parts before the end of the series. So I was thinking on what else to do. So I found a person, someone recommended this idea, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel, for this idea. And it wasn't the idea I had thought of. I thought of something similar for Ruby. But what if Whis from Ruby was Blake's sister? I decided to make Whis a Faunus in this, so it's going to be what if Whis was a Faunus? And will be Blake's sister in this, of the Belladonna family, if I remember, or say the name correctly. So tell me in the comments what you think of that one. And this is one of 2 you'll be voting for when I finish the series. The other one is, what if Ruby was Akainu's daughter from One Piece? Now, I thought of this idea a while back, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you, she's going to eat the rose fruit. So she can turn into, rose petals. It is technically it would be considered a Logia or a Paramecium. I will have that finished when I do the series or figure that out. And there's also something I need to explain. I did post a couple days ago that I was going to play Undertale. Or Deltarune first. Most of y'all voted for Undertale. I don't know if that's a leopard or a lion dragon. It looks like a lion for the Whis one. We'll discuss that. But I said I would play Undertale. Now, my plans got moved a little bit back for Undertale due to a YouTuber and a friend of mine known as Howling Melody wanted to observe me playing it and will be here next to me, basically explaining parts I get confused on, because I plan to do a Deltarune and Undertale story mixed with my hero, which should be very interesting, but it's going to take me a while to do. And I told the person that recommended it, it's going to take me a while to do, but I loved his idea and even was working on the thumbnail. But I know nothing of the games, so until I play them and to get more information, I am going to refrain from making the series, although what he recommended was an amazing idea. If I remember, there was something else I needed to say before this live stream started. What was it? It was probably another what if Ruby idea I was going to run by y'all. But oh no, it wasn't the Ruby idea. It was the zebra that was corrupted. I am working on the trailer for the next part. The trailer will be done way before the actual episode for the episode 2 of the Zebra That Was Corrupted series, a fan-made MLP made by me. It is similar to Fallout Equestria, a little bit similar, but it's not in the same time. If it is, because I've not seen Fallout Equestria, and I have no idea. I've never seen, heard, watched Fallout Equestria, so I don't know anything in the plot. So this could be something similar, and I didn't even know of it. Not this, the Fallout Equestria. And the thumbnail for the trailer has been made. But those are not going to be dropped for a bit because I need to work on the actual story. Another thing is the Octoling experimentation story is coming on back. Yes, it's coming, making a return. Episode 5, I believe I'm on. I will work on doing a scene change thing. Like, there will be several scenes I'll be changing to. Like I did for the previous part of the series. And I want to answer y'all's questions of why did I stop that. I stopped it because I didn't have time. Like, it's a story I made up, personally myself. But I also have to make the scenes for the story. Like, put together scenes. That takes time that I have not gotten. Like, I could have if I took a few days of not posting something, but I really like to get videos out there to y'all. So I decided to stop with the series for a bit, to focus on other stuff. But I think I'll have some free time to make that scene change part for next week. It'll probably be dropped with another episode of something. But anyway, any questions before I get started into the actual story? And I know someone's going to ask this, is John still going to be encased in ice? Yes, John is going to be encased in ice. And this does not take, like... This is basically a side episode, so not really any canon events of the story will be taking place. Just funny scenes, a casual beach day. I'm most likely going to have the characters of Ruby also there. Although I can never remember John's team's name, which I will get definitely for the next story memorized. Because I always forget their names. I do apologize for that. But I definitely will have their names memorized. Oh, you're curious on what Ruby eats. Okay. So, this will actually come to a shock, but she does eat regular food, but she's also lived with the Grimm, who've eaten other Grimm to survive, because Grimm will work together, but they're kind of like species, where the top predator rules and all that. So I believe the Grimm would fight each other for survival, obviously. So I would not... And one reason she has the Grimm... has Grimm skin growing on her is because she devours Grimm. But the main reason the skin was growing is because they used Grimm tissue to patch up the wound. And hopefully that answers your question, Dragon. Oh, yes. In fact, I know you recommended that one, so if I remember... Yes, I am going to be doing that one. It's going to be a bit, but I went ahead and made you a thumbnail. This was recommended by Darren. And I thought, you know what? Why not? And I'll even give you all a little bit of a tip. He's going to be an experiment from Island. He's part of a very rare race. I forgot what his race was, but I will definitely have it memorized. Like, you're having so many sneak peeks right now. I've impressed myself. But anyway. I should have commented to you telling that I was going to do that one, Darren. I just didn't have the time. But I do appreciate every one of yours ideas. I've made thumbnails for pretty much most of my recommendations. Most. Unless I know nothing about the series. Like, Undertale and Deltarune is a story idea I did not want to pass up. That felt like a very interesting tone. And the trailer, technically the trailer is technically like the first episode explaining a bunch of things, was actually, recommended by someone and made a full-on list for like a trailer. So, hey, In fact, I'll find your name probably later, or I'm definitely giving you comments and credits for that video, because the recommendation was really good. And I'm glad you liked the thumbnail. Lumerian, correct? That was his race. Okay, thank you. And I will be adding the Beast Pirates as your request. Although, I'm going to maybe change a few things about the whole world, because the Beast Pirates are going to be in My Hero. So I may change a few things. Any more questions before we get into the main start of the story? Oh, and remember to leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. That is a good question, and I was actually going to mention this. Ruby hates hunters and humans to an extent, but Faunuses, not really. Like, the White Fang is just someone that attacks them, so they fight back, obviously. But they're more like people that get in Ruby's way. So that's why they're being dealt with, if y'all understand. Like, the White Fang teamed up with Salem, for the most part. And, a little teaser, the next thumbnail will have Adam in it. It will have something to do with Adam. And mostly the White Fang, because I'm getting into the White Fang arc and all that, for the most part, where the White Fang was taken over by Adam. I have to remember that other council members of... Oh, whatever. But anyway, hopefully that answers your question. But she does really have the most hatred for hunters. I really thought you all were going to ask a question of, like, who was Bear Mask, or, like, the Bear Grim Mask guy. Well, thank you, Darren, for being subscribed. Like, I do appreciate you. Oh, when Deku was Entity 303, alright. For a moment, I was thinking, like... I was thinking of, like, for something reason, I was thinking of another what if. But anyway, good to know. Now, any more questions before I get to the main start of this story? Because I'm gonna start this, of course, carrying John to the beach or something. If I remember. Which I will. And if you like this audios and all that, make sure to grab a snack, enjoy, get a drink. And of course, I definitely have to say thank you once again for all of my subscribers. Y'all have been a big help on this channel, and I never thought I would reach 500 subscribers. I honestly didn't have hopes for this, but y'all proved me wrong. Now, for the remainder of the year, I'm hoping for 8. I'm not pushing. I'm not pushing for that much. Because I'm just glad y'all actually liked my videos, subscribed. It's an honor to be subscribed by y'all, because y'all actually are supporting me. Like, your comments, like, every time I feel down, y'all comment like you know I'm feeling down. And your comments cheer me up. It's weird that every time I'm on a, what would you say, burnout or something, y'all comment and you're like, you're uplifting. I do appreciate that. So thank you all once again. Dragon, what do you mean weird, but does Ruby get crushes? Like, people like Ruby? Or crush like a boulder? Because that was... That's a weird question. But if you're asking like does anyone like Ruby? There is someone in the series that does have a bit of a crush in Ruby, which you will get into most likely this episode. Without further ado, is there any more questions? Okay, like romance. Yes, there's someone that does like Ruby in the series. He's already been on. He hasn't really had any screen time because I don't have him on thumbnail, but he's been mentioned and he is in the story. He's a character I made up. In fact, I think I found the perfect name for the character anyway, instead of calling him Bear Mask. Because he is a faunus that was raised by a bear grim. Oh, you also commented that one, didn't you? What if Deku was Fleet Admiral Akainu? Actually, I did make a thumbnail for that one because someone mentioned what if Deku was Fleet Admiral and was Endeavor's best friend. I have that thumbnail made. Like, does Ruby like anyone? At the moment, no. The only interaction she's had with actual person is Bear Mask. And really, they've known each other for a few years now. I will get more into like the romance stuff. Like I've not really been big on romance, but I can get a bit into it because I think the story does need a bit. So I will work on that. Oh, and I did mention like. But anyway, is there any more questions before I start? Oh, I probably should answer this one right away for all of you people that are wondering about, like, your what if ideas. Most of them I agree to and think they're amazing ideas, but I'm gonna say this right now. I'm not doing anything related to Disney. I say this because I worry that Disney will come after me. Because they've been going after a lot of people. So nothing with Disney for at least a long time on this channel. No what ifs encountering Disney, so like no Marvel, no Star Wars, although I really want to do a Star Wars what if so bad. Sorry, big Star Wars fan. As well as all these other shows I've watched. But big Star Wars fan. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, I do fear that mouse. That mouse is absolutely terrifying. You know what they do? You know what Disney does? Like, I can do something about Steamboat Willie. So if y'all want to see what if Deku was a Steamboat Willie, I'm making it as cartoony as ever. We're going full-blown Steamboat Adventure. I don't know why I brought that up. Hey, I do appreciate that comment, Fear of the Mouse. I gotta say, y'all make me laugh sometimes. And Darren, thank you for thinking my videos are funny. Thank you, man. Oh, I gotta check your channel, but did you drop the second episode of like what if you were in One Piece? Like, I know this is kind of a little bit of a help to your channel, I guess, but I watched it and I honestly liked the idea and the concept. Can't remember if you were the one to recommend that I should do a what if I was in One Piece. The only problem is I've been thinking on that one. I don't know what devil fruit I would have. But anyway, one last time. Does anyone have any more questions before we get started? Shinjun Wu from... I don't think I actually know that character. I'll have to look him up. Hold up, let me... What is that character? Is that character an item? Can someone explain that to me real quick? Like, Shingan Wu from Ixalan Showdown? Oh, they're magical items. Oh. You know what? That seems cool. I'll definitely have to mark that down. Hold up. Let me make a note so I don't forget about this. Like, I feel like I've heard of the show before, maybe a long time ago, but I'll have to check what show that's from. Maybe I've watched it in the past. Because it feels familiar to me. Okay, we have another one. POV of Disney. Your actually outcome said before you make this video. Yeah, I can say Disney. And I don't think Star Wars is a copyrighted name. Because I read something about it. Someone actually used the name Star Wars before. And actually, Disney lost the sue. If I remember. Or the owner, at least. Okay, I'm definitely gonna look at that show. Because I feel like I've watched it before a long time ago. So thank you for actually recommending that, by the way. Alright, how many people we got on? A few people. Alright. Without further ado, I think I'm gonna get right on into this. Anyway, let's get started. Right into the what if. What if Ruby was raised by the Grimm? Or the Black Rose series, I like to call. Special episode, the beach episode. Now this video will have multiple characters from out the series enjoying a little beach day. Even though the last episode was technically the fall of, well, Beacon. But we're just gonna ignore that and like everyone's having a beach day. All except a few people, but mostly everyone's gonna have a beach day. Now, of course, we start with the, Freeze, I believe, which was the ice cream wolf that was carrying John. As we see John's lower body's covered with, he's basically in an ice cube. As his head's out top. Can you let me go, or can someone explain where you're carrying me? As the ice wolf carries him to a beach and sets him down. As he's looking around, his Grimwolves are around him. As a big giant wolf, Grimm being Ruby's mother, coming through with Ruby and her siblings on her back. Now, I didn't give the white Grimwolf a name, so, you know what, recommend to me a name for the character. Shadow's there, and the half and half Grimwolf, half white, half black. As we're moving through the story, she lays down, letting her, children and Ruby get off. Now, Ruby is walking on the beach. As she looks out and seeing a bunch of Grimwolves in the sand and all that, playing around in the water, having fun. They even set up a volleyball net and are even playing a bit of volleyball. Don't ask why they're playing volleyball. And we actually see the white Grimwolf going over to, the water, and we actually get to see its powers firsthand in this episode. The white Grimwolf, which doesn't have any really ice abilities, but has a type of light ability. So basically, she's able to put a surrounding mechanism of light, and even shoot beams of light from her mouth, and even make attacks like claw slashes of light. So that will be the main of, well, her sister's abilities. She also has the ability to grow in size by absorbing the light in the area. So her quirk, or, well, not quirk, but her power is mostly used during the day, as that's when she's strongest. Shadow, on the other hand, is kind of the polar opposite, being night. And also goes in the shadows. Quite obvious. But anyway, we have Ruby, who takes off her cloak, and we just see her in, like, her standard outfit. As she goes over and looks around, seeing the Grimwolves having fun, just a similar beach day. And then we go look at John, who is sitting in the ice, and to be honest, we just see the Ice Grimwolf sleeping right next to him. John can feel the Grimwolf's breath. Man, when did this last one brush its teeth? Oh, it smells like he was eating fish. That would be Freeze, as John looks at Ruby. Who might you be? And why are you around Grim? Why, these are my siblings and my family, as she gestures to all the Grimwolves on the beach. And someone manages to hit the ball from the net. Like, you have Grimwolf standing and all that, and just hitting the volleyball. One of them goes flying over the net and going past, and even going past Ruby's head, hitting John straight in the face. Oh! As he would usually touch his nose and all that, because it hurts. But he's encased in ice. What is he gonna do? And we see Ruby's expression. Okay, that gotta hurt. But anyway, I guess I should let you out. As then someone would come over and just knock on the back of John's head. Ow, who did that? As we see the bear mask Grim person, who's a faunus, comes out from behind John. Hello, Ruby, it's been a while. Can I call you by your name this time? Yes, you may. What was it, Darren? Yes, Darren the wolf. Well, sorry, Darren the bear. I'm surrounded by your Grimwolves, so Wolf just came out. Fair point. But anyway, what are you doing here? Well, can't I see a friend? I haven't seen you since last week. Fair point and all that. Okay, I had to stop the recording for this. You know what's funny? I just did a little bit of research on Beowulf. I had to mention this. Because I just had to. Anyway, back to the story. So what do you want? Oh, what? I just want to visit my friend. After all, how long does it... As he puts his hand on her shoulder. Has it been since we've actually, talked? At this point, as soon as his hand landed on her shoulder, almost every eyes of every Grim wolf stared directly at him. As he quickly removes his hand, hey, no need for fights. As several of the Grim wolves just look away. As it says Ruby chuckling in laughter. Man, that was funny. I know my family's a bit overprotective, but that's just hilarious. What? Them staring at me and threatening to kill me with those stares? No, the fact you don't notice what you're standing in. As he looks down as he's sinking into quicksand. Why today? Hey, a little help here. As she gives out crescent rose in her scythe form, as he grabs the tilt of it as he's lifted out and set to the side. You really need to be more clever about your surroundings, or else you may get sand. Sand? As he looks away and then looks back as he gets tossed by sand in his face. What was that for? As John is just sitting in this conversation confused. Nope. I also forgot to mention this. He is bleeding by the nose because he got hit with that volleyball pretty hard. As the ice cream wolf finally wakes up, as it looks over and immediately starts to attack Beowulf, Mask, or Darren. As Darren just jumps over the ice cream wolf, grabbing its head and flipping it, tossing it into a cliff nearby. As Ruby's just clapping. Impressive! You actually managed to toss Freeze all the way over to the cliff. As we just have John, who's observing this, and also is jumping to try to move the ice around to see what's going on. As he sees the ice cream wolf fly right by him and into the cliff. Why am I in this situation? As Darren doesn't know. I don't know. I just saw you got brought here by one of Ruby's Grimm, also known as Black Rose. Black Rose? Oh, I guess my name hasn't spread so far in the under. Also known as Hunting of Hunters. You're really hunting hunters? Yes, I am. Now, if you'll excuse me, there's a lot of things I must attend to, as we just see a few grim wolves buried in the sand, as then we just see John looking up as we see Ruby's mother over him, and she opens her mouth, dropping a whole bunch of sand over John, encasing him over sand. He's now frozen and under sand, with his head sticking out. I must have the worst luck in the world. No, my friend, that would be the unlucky semblance I know someone has. As John looks over, and who could that be? No, no spoilers. Spoilers of what? As Ruby's just watching this little, argument happening, the rest of the Grimwolves are just partying, having fun. And this is where we go take a little detour from the main area of where Ruby and her friends are to another beach area where we see, Cinder and her companions, as they're just, sitting at the beach, having a beach day. So, Cinder, why are we here? Simply, we're taking the day off, as, of course, she has the... In this timeline of things, she still has the same wounds. But for the sake of this episode, I'm going to say that she's recovered a bit quickly, but she'll have the same injuries entwined within the next part. So, a quick heal just for this episode. As they're just enjoying the beach today. So, why are we here exactly? Oh, Salem told us to test out the new, Leviathan Grimm, which is in the back of the thumbnail. So I've set off on sea to just do its own adventures. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, aren't we gonna do something fun? Didn't you just bury him in the sand? As the person with that uses his legs? I always forget his name. But, he's basically buried in the sand. You didn't have to bury me in the sand, you know. And to make it worse, you had to bury me in sand and then burn it to where I'm buried in glass. As Cinder and the other girl is laughing. You kinda deserved it after what you did. What? I simply changed the salt with spice. And I got both of you, and it was hilarious. But does that really deserve me being stuck in glass? As both Cinder and the other girl look at each other. Yep. Mercury's his name. Okay, thank you. So, Mercury, did you learn your lesson? I guess. So can you let me out now? You know, we'll give you 5 more minutes. You gotta be kidding me. As he wants to break the glass, but he knows he's gonna be cut all over. So he's just gonna wait. And we go back over to Ruby and, her friends. Which being, the Grimwolves and Darren. And John, conveniently. Now we see what most of the Grimwolves are doing now. Several of them are playing in the water. The half-white, half-black Grimwolf is laying on top of a cliff. Shadow is honestly dragging around John, who's still encased in ice somehow, across the beach side. And you see some Grimwolves napping, and we just see Ruby's mom just laying on the side watching all the Grimwolves. Because Ruby's mom is technically the alpha of the pack. So she deems most of the Grimwolves as her children in a way. Ruby especially. So, John is just getting whacked around. And Darren and Ruby decide to talk. So, have you decided what you're going to do against Salem? Yes, it's going to be inevitable. We're going to have to fight Salem. But I will not let Salem take any of my siblings, nor my pack. As she looks back at the others, you really do care for them, don't you? Of course I do. They're my family. Well, at least I'm glad I became friends with you, Rose. Why call me by that name? I don't know. I decided to call you by it. But anyway. There's another reason I came here today. I knew it. What was it? I came here because of a certain, little incident that happened at Beacon. Was it about Ozpin dying? That was nothing. I had nothing to do about that, alright? I said I was going to get him, but if he died, that was not my responsibility. As she's rambling on, that was not the problem? As now she looks over confused. Ozpin wasn't the problem? No. It's the fact you didn't give me a souvenir. As this dumbfounds Ruby and several other Grimm around her. What do you mean I didn't give you a souvenir? Didn't I leave you a message in your, cloak's pocket saying, get me a souvenir from Beacon? As she grabs her cloak, looks at the pocket and sees a note, give me a souvenir from Beacon, please. By Darren. Why, you? Okay, this is where I'm gonna get punched in the face, aren't I? As then Shadow comes out of Ruby's shadow and flatlines this man onto the sand. Thank you, Shadow. As Shadow smiles before disappearing once again. And goes back to dragging John around. As we see the freeze come closer as well. But this time he just lays down, takes a nap, and the water he's laying nearby freezes. As Dan gets back up and notices that, a Grimm is staring at him from a distance, being, half white and half, black Grimm, which is now going to be called Eclipse. As Eclipse is just staring, what is that Grimwolf staring at me for? Oh, that is Eclipse. I don't know what he does. He's just... As then she gets a headache for some reason. Ugh, my head. Hey, what's wrong? She shakes it off. Oh, it's nothing. As we go back to Eclipse, who's looking off in the distance and see some movement in the water. As it grunts and all that, but it keeps to itself. As now we just see several Grimwolves having a race. And of course, John is being dragged by Shadow during the entire thing. As we now see what John has to say. As he's going up and down, being hit as the ice starts to break a bit. Why is this my day to get pain? As then one of them, Shadow makes the corner and John hits the side of the rocks, shattering him, freeing him. But of course, his weapons were separated because he lost grip on them while being frozen in the ice. As he rolls over, as 3 Grimwolves are just staring at him. Alright, I can explain. Just Get the freezing Grimwolf, and I will definitely not bother you or anything. As he then just gets dragged by the Grimwolves back over to Ruby and Darren. As they see John is being carried over. Why? Why do you bring him? I need to know, Ruby. Oh, honestly, I thought he would have information on Silver Eyes. Silver Eyes? Yes, Silver Eyes. I don't know. What are those? Oh, wait, yeah, I did mention that to you. I'm just messing with you, Ruby. Yes, I know, because you're the one that told me about Silver Eyes. But anyway, what was the main reason you were coming here for? Oh, I didn't answer that, did I? Oh, no, I did answer that. It was the souvenir from Beacon. That was it. Alright. Whatever you say, Darren. As now, they've just finished bringing John over to Ruby and, well, Darren. As they see the Ice Wolf is asleep. Well, it looks like, guys, you're gonna have to wait to well, put him in a brick of ice once again and drag him around. As the Grimwolves all look at each other, and Ruby's sister comes over. And they look at her. What do you want to do? As she grabs John's jacket before swinging him into the water. As he's in the water, he gets back up. What was that for? As then he noticed a bunch of Grimwolves are running towards him. Oh, great. A game of chase? As he starts swimming for his life away from the Grim. Like, are you gonna tell them not to murder him? Oh, don't worry, I already gave them orders not to harm him. Although, a few hits from Rock should be fine, as long as he's not dead. I am so glad I'm friends with you and not on your bad side. Oh, don't worry, you'd be like him if you were on my bad side. Yes, I know. But I do have to ask, do you remember that little conversation we had a few years back? After you defeated me in the combat? Or I still have the scar on my arm. What was that? Nothing. But anyway, do you remember that conversation? Yes, you mentioned about partnering up for a bit. Yeah. After all, you're the only person I can really talk to. Of course, getting information on other things is a bit, something. So, how about that partnership? As Ruby smiles, I suppose so, as she puts her hand out, as Darren and Ruby shake hands. So where to next? Well, there's one organization that's been getting in my way, which we'll take care of them later. And who may they be? The White Fang. They've been in almost every place I've wanted to attack, interrupting my plans. So I want to go ahead and get rid of them before they cause any more trouble. You would also be taking out a key enemy as they work for Salem. As Ruby looks over, really? Yes. Noted. As we now look into the vast ocean and all that, where John is still swimming off, as he swam out of the cove area. As, of course, the Grimwolves are still following him, he decides to hide in a small cave nearby. Alright, I can catch my breath. Hopefully I escaped from them. As he's catching his breath, he looks behind and sees Eclipse. As he's just like, okay, what can I get you? I know you're a Grim. You don't really listen to reason, but listen, we can talk about this. As, not gonna lie, Eclipse just simply tosses this man out of the water and hit him in the back of the cave, knocking him out, before dragging him back to the beach. As we see John, whose head spinning, yes, I would like another little round around the rosies. Blech. As he's fully unconscious. As time commences, we see Eclipse dragging out John. Can I ask a question about him? I really need to ask a question about him. What is it this time, Darren? You don't sense his aura. As Ruby focuses, I don't really see aura like you can, Darren. Oh, that's right. As Darren touches her shoulder and making the aura around John visible. As it's an interesting aura. What type of aura is that? I'm not sure myself, but it's truly interesting. You're going to keep him around for a while, aren't you? Yeah, until I feel bored of him. After all, the Grims need a new chew toy. As Darren looks confused, what do you mean by chew toy? Like, all the broken house pieces aren't really fun to play with. The Grimwolves like to play, especially the younger ones. As Darren just simply puts his hand on his face, you're using destroyed buildings as toys for the Grimwolves? Only the younger ones. As Ruby's mother is now just over Darren. And Ruby's mother is really large in size, by the way. She's about taller than Beacon. As Darren looks up. Okay, please tell me I've not said something to offend her. No, you haven't said something to offend her. As he says, good. As then he gets hit by one of Ruby's mom's legs. You said something to offend me. As he goes flying all the way over into, well, the ocean. You know, I should be back in about a few hours. Or maybe an hour at most. As John finally wakes up. Okay, what happened? As he's looking around and sees, oh no, it wasn't a dream. As then he gets picked up by the ice wolf. Grim. What is it this time? Are you gonna freeze me in a block of ice? You're gonna toss me to the sea? What? There's nothing you could possibly do to make this day even worse. As Ruby looks over. You wanna bet? As... oh no. As this man, the ice wolf, literally points out in a direction, aiming. And prepares to throw him. He like flings him up 1, 2, and 3. Sends him flying in the same direction as Darren. As he lands in the water right next to Darren. How did you get here? I upset Ruby somehow and got sent this far out to sea. How did you get here? As John's looking over. I don't know. The ice wolf just threw me this far. Well, you're coming back with me. Can't you just let me go for just this once? No, because I do not want to get flinged out here even further by Ruby's mom. Who is Ruby in question? Who is her mom? Oh, you know that huge wolf Grim that you saw? What do you mean, the gigantic wolf Grim that could possibly destroy Beacon on its own? Yeah, that one. As John's eyes goes in terror. You gotta be. As then he gets pulled out of the way as the big Leviathan Grim comes out of the water and hisses at them. Just our luck. Of course the Leviathan Grim would show up out here. You know this thing? No, I've heard of it. Never seen it. Just heard of it. As it dives down, as they quickly swim to the side, but John's little belt gets caught on the scales of the Leviathan Grim being dragged underwater. Hey, that's actually a good idea! As Darren just swims down and grabs onto its tail as the Leviathan Grim is heading towards shore. As we see several of the Grim just playing around, having a good time. As Eclipse again sees the thing of the water as it's coming fast, as it howls to inform all the other Grim. As several of the Grim stop what they're doing, look over, seeing the Leviathan come out of the water as John is on one of its scales. And Darren on its tail. As it's coming towards shore. Ruby's like, oh, great, they led a large Grim towards us. Several Grim wolves run towards it, as it's near the shore area. As they attack it, but get flinged off, as John's like, get me down from here! I am tired of being swinged like a chew toy today. As then all the Grimwolves just look up as the Leviathan Grim just shakes, saying John flying over and into the sand. And all the Grimwolves do this one singular motion. They watch him fly all the way from the Grimwolves, or the Grim Leviathan's tail, or scale, and land straight into the sand. And not gonna lie, Ruby is laughing at this. That's kind of funny, alright. You got flinged straight from his tail, or from its scale, and just got sent straight into the sand, face first. As John gets up, "Can I please have a break?" As then the Ice Wolf grabs him, and just looks at him, shaking his head, and just launches him towards the Leviathan Grim. And not gonna lie, it lands directly on its head. As Darren's just slowly climbing up the back of the Leviathan's tail, going in and out of the water. As several Grimwolves are attacking, not doing much to its scales, as Ruby runs across the water towards this Grim, turning into rose petals, and, cuts and breaks through its scale a little bit. As it's shaken, trying to get John off its head. "Can I please have a break for everything good around here?" As then he gets launched into the air, as it seems he's gonna fall right into the Leviathan's mouth. But luckily, Ruby and Darren got there just in time, and Darren uses a unique, a sword. A sword with the ability to use, like, dust. As they attack and decapitate the Leviathan Grim, and John lands on the Ice Grim's back perfectly, but at the velocity he would have landed, we see his reaction. Why? As he slides off, unconscious. As now we go to Ruby and Darren, who are out of the water, a little bit wet because they fell in after defeating the Leviathan. I gotta say, that was a bit of a good warm-up. You call that a warm-up? You could have handled that thing too if you weren't in the water. True, if I had actual land, I could deal with that thing in a 1v1, most likely. But we both decapitated, so I call it a draw. I'd call that a draw too. As the sun is going down. Oh, it looks like our beach day is coming to an end. It looks like it is. But I don't feel bad for what's happened to him, though. As I look over and see John, who's just laying there unconscious. Why? As the Ice Grimwolf then freezes his body again, making him a cube of ice once more. Well, I'll save the interrogation for tomorrow. Probably the best decision you've made. Also, I gotta say, maybe me and you could hang out more, or maybe just me, you, as he says this, several grim eyes now lay upon him. Okay, this time he may have offended my mother. As he looks over and sees Ruby's mother running towards him. As he starts to move his hands. Oh, may I be protected from this. As he gets hit and sent flying like he would from just blasting off again. Hopefully y'all get that reference. As Ruby's like, "Ooh, Mom, you hit him quite far. Gotta say, he went flying." As her mom just makes a smirk grin at what she just did. Before then hitting John's ice cube and having him fall over. No, he's unconscious, so he doesn't feel that. As now all of the Grim have just come down and are now lighting a campfire. As they're just around, she's having some marshmallows and just enjoying her time with her family, the Grim Wolves. And now we see where Darren ended up. We see Darren, who had landed on top of a remote rock in the middle of nowhere. Where am I? I am in the middle of nowhere. How far did Ruby's mother yeet me? Like, she had to throw me like at least a few thousand miles. I gotta say, I gotta give credit for her Grim. Like, they are super powerful. But now, how am I gonna get home? As then a flying Grim happens to pass by. You know what you'll do? As we go back to Ruby, who is enjoying the marshmallows she had just cooked. I gotta say, I'm looking forward to checking out the White Fang. I wonder what a resistance they'll put. I gotta say, delicious marshmallows. And now we see what happened to the rest of, well, Ruby's team, or John's team in this one. As we see Blake, Weiss, Yang, and the rest of, well, John's original team just hanging out. As they're having volleyball, as Yang is doing it with one arm and just dominating in volleyball. And what is that guy with black and green hair? Yeah. They start playing and they start hitting the ball. As Nora's in the background enjoying a sandwich. As, well, Yang hits the ball, it goes flying right past Blake, who is playing on the side of the person with green and black hair from John's original team. And hits Nora straight in the face. As she's like, "It's on now." As she comes playing right volleyball and just smacks that thing as hard as she can at Yang. And they just start going at it back and forth. And if I remember, the guy with the black hair and green thing was it Ren? So yeah. As they're playing and all that, mostly they just do beach stuff, start discussing about what happened at Beacon. So it's about nightfall. They start to discuss, like, really, we were attacked by Grim all out of blue at Beacon. Like, there were so many. And Blake speaks up. Plus the White Fang. As she looks over, and Adam. As Yang noticed this. "You alright, Blake?" "Yeah, I'm fine." As they start discussing, does anyone know where John ran off to, though? They are now just bringing John after he's been missing for like an entire episode. "No, I haven't seen John. I thought he was with you." "No, we haven't seen him since before Beacon fell." Well, maybe he's just hanging out. Maybe he went back home to just spend some time with his family over the break." "Yeah, possible, but he would have at least told us." And Weiss stands up. "You got a point. He is one of our members." As Ren speaks up, "Who knows, maybe he was just out of town when it happened." "Yeah, you're right." As the dawn sets and we go back to, well, Ruby and her Grims, as we see John being dragged. Ow, ow. Why am I hitting every rock on the way to where we're going? As then the Ice Grim who's dragging him lifts him up and tosses him towards a tree, hitting his head on the wood, going unconscious once again. As Ruby looks back, "Stop doing that, I need him alive." As the Grimwolf looks down, just make sure he's still alive and breathing. Of course John is. As they're dragging him back off to the cave. And this is where we go back to Darren, who is currently flying back on a Grim. "Like, I've been flying for 2 hours. How far did she launch me?" And that's the end of Black Rose special beach episode. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe for more. I'm not gonna lie, I loved this part. This was an amazing one. I'm glad I did this one and decided to do it, because I don't do specials often, and when I decide to do it, they usually turn out really good for some reason. Oh, did Yang still lose an arm? Yes, she did still lose the arm in canon. And in this. I just She was basically playing volleyball with one hand in this. She did not get the robotic arm just yet. That's kind of months later, I think. But anyway. Does anyone have any questions about this episode? Although I am glad I made it mostly funny on this one. I'm not gonna lie. Although I kind of tortured John and Darren a bit. I may do another special episode before the finale of the series. Let me know down in the comments what should I do for the special episode before the finale of the series. Because I think I'll do a special episode before the series ends, just for the fun of it. It may be another live stream because I enjoyed this one. There are a few, again, thank you for the name Eclipse, and thank you for reminding me some of the names. Gotta thank y'all for that. Now, Eclipse does have powers. I was not getting into that one yet, but one of his powers is sensing the emotions of the other Grimm and the states of the other Grimm. Now, a perspective that I didn't put into this, which will be in the next episode, is Eclipse's perspective over Ruby's condition. Which will definitely be in the next episode. Part 8. Hopefully y'all like this part. I have a feeling some of you liked it. Gotta say, I do appreciate those laughs and the grim. John got, if we're gonna be honest here, John got the worst of it, but you gotta say Darren got some of the pain too. I just love how I sent this man flying into nowhere and just came back at the end of the episode as he's just flying back, trying to get back to the mainland. I gotta say. Yep, Beowulf family. Beowulf family. Yeah, that would be good. A episode where they're celebrating Ruby's birthday. You know what? Hey, should I keep John around just for that one? The boys got concerns for sure. Most definitely. I think I'm gonna keep John around. He's gonna be the comedian of the rest of the series. I'm thinking of it. Or I release him on the final episode. I have not made my mind up on that yet. But I feel like I'm gonna keep John around, or possibly release him, get captured again. Who knows? One of those are definitely gonna be funny. Anyway, Darren and Dragon, thanks for joining me for this live stream. I was actually debating playing a game depending on how long this live stream was. Definitely head trauma. John definitely has some head trauma from that. Also, I have not figured out what the romance for the, what if we story was upon us. I've not figured the romance out right from that. It's up in the air about 2 characters right now. And I will be adding a fan-made character made by myself that was inspired by a friend into the What If We was upon us. Because this man is just crazy incarnate, and I like his character I made for him. So hopefully you enjoy that, and if you watch some of my past videos of what ifs, you might have seen him. Also, if you've watched Shadows versus Siren Head and the Shadow series, you may have seen him or heard of him, because these are what if stories most of the time. So he's an explosive person that seemingly cannot die. But that's really it. Unless y'all have any questions for the future of this series, any other series I may have, or any games I may play. Because I seem to have a lot of time to do stuff for this next week, so I may do a bit more live streams, so stay tuned for those. I may bring back the What If live streams, where I may do the Black Rose series on it as well. debating, of course. Because I remember doing the What If live streams, and they were very fun to do. I had the most fun on them for a long time, and I still like to do them. It just came to the point to where I didn't have the time to do any more of the really live streams. I even said this earlier, like a month or two ago, that I didn't have the time to do many live streams anymore. So, you get a live stream from me, enjoy it. Because you don't know when the next one's coming. Like, after this week, you may not get a live stream until I do the corrupted zebra story, maybe. Or the special of this series. The next one, of course. I am going to ask this. What type of torture do you want for John in the last part of the special? Because I am all in for comments on how to make this man horrible right now. Even if it can be some other characters. Like, if you want me to have John take a break from all the torture, trauma, head trauma, fear of the grim, please tell me down below. I am definitely looking forward. And that show you recommended to me, what was it? It was... Exelon Showdown? I thought that name looked familiar. I think I have watched that show. Yeah, I've watched this show a long time ago. I remember it. This brings back memories. Yeah, I used to watch that show when I was younger. So thanks for bringing that up. I did not think I would get to see that show ever again. I'd forgotten its name. So I gotta say, thank you, Dragon. I had totally forgotten the whole show's name. And I may decide to binge watch it and relive a bit of my childhood. So thank you very much for telling me about that. Ah, yes. Darren did get glared at a lot. Yes, you gotta enjoy the old shows. Let's see, what was a few old shows I like to watch? Give you all a bit of a rough estimate. That was definitely one of them. There was this old show where they were fighting robots most of the time. I could never remember its name. This was when I was very young. And, like, he had, like, a robotic arm or something? Or armor? It was so long ago. It's like a blank memory, but I still remember it somehow. He had all these forms of something, a lot of enemies. It was mostly robotic, if I remember. Then there was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. That theme song still hits hard. Ben 10. Ben 10 was a good one. Again, quite a few shows from the childhood. And I'm not talking about the reboot Ben 10. I'm talking about the original Ben 10. I remember that and gotta say, it was one of my favorites. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If anyone has any other questions before I end the live stream, please do. If I remember, some of them were circular, some of them were circular. I can never remember the show's name. I was very little when I watched it, so it makes sense. Some of them were circular, and they were in some of them were orange, if I remember. Then there was this... He could change his arms or something? Sorry, I'm probably not gonna be much help. I don't remember the show too well. Like, I remember several fight scenes. They were in like a arena, I think, at one point in the show. There was a tower. They're probably different episodes, most likely. I could never remember the show, but if y'all could find out and tell me. If I remember I don't remember the main character's name. If I did, I would be looking for it nonstop, trying to figure it out. But I can tell you, I was like super young when I watched this show, so I don't have the best memory on it. But I remember it was a show I loved when I was a kid. It's like you're watching this show and you're intrigued from the very beginning, and you want to see how it goes. I think I watched it off TV, but it was a long time ago, so if none of y'all know the name, it's no problem. Well, anyway, thank y'all for coming to this live stream. Thank you very much. And remember to like and subscribe. Where did I watch it? I want to say it was really old. I don't know, but maybe it was Nickelodeon? I'm thinking it was on Nickelodeon a long time ago. I cannot remember. I don't think it was, but... Cartoon, maybe? It was very long ago, so I'm not sure. I know what you meant, like, TV-wise. I know that. It was very long ago. I can't remember if it was on Nickelodeon or if it was just on some random... It was just a random show I discovered. Maybe it was on Netflix at some point. I don't know. It was very long ago, but thank you for bringing up a show that I watched in my childhood. So, I'm definitely going to see if I can find the show again. Watch it. Because, hey, for all you out there that are listening to this, old shows, no matter how, like, silly it is, if they mean something to you, don't try to forget them. Like I forgot that one show, but that was very long ago when I was very young. Like, I'm terrible with some names. Yeah, I can definitely say it was definitely somewhere around the 20s. But anyway, those shows can definitely hold some meaning. And I will admit, I've gone back and watched kids' shows when I felt down. You know why? Because they meant meaning, and that meaning can heal whatever you're going through. Like, silly shows, no matter how silly it is. Like, in fact, you know some of the MLP what ifs I do for What If Deku? I've watched ML Pony, My Little Pony. I've watched it. I'll admit that. Now, I never really got to the season with Cozy Glow. Didn't really make it to that. In fact, I got to Tyrek, like, Season 5, Season 6, Season 7? Possibly? But, other than that, can't really tell you. Although, I'm thinking of doing a What If Deku was Trixie. How funny is it seeing What If Deku was Trixie? I gotta say, that would be funny. Just the tomfoolery character as she is. Yeah, he didn't miss much. I honestly just wanted to talk to y'all and read y'all's opinions on my work and all that. Like, feel free, if you have an opinion on my stories and all that, you can tell me. I'll read them out. Or I'll read them. Like, something that was a major failure and I took down was what if Deku was... It was a Warframe thing. It was from Warframe. I attempted something, but I admit I knew nothing of Warframe. So I ended up just scrapping the series, uh, and did nothing with it. Just scrapped it, and I was thinking of possibly coming back to it. It was what if Deku was what was it? The things that control the Warframes. A Taeon? A Taeon? I have not played Warframe. I've played some Warframe. I've known people that played Warframe. But I could never get myself into Warframe. A Tenno. Thank you, Dragon. Thank you. I could never get into Warframe. I don't know why. It's just I could never get into the game. And also there's another complication with me playing the game. Tenno. A Tenno. I hope I'm saying that right. Like, I understand the lore. Like, I knew someone that started a campaign, and bear in mind, it was late night, and he played through the entire campaign thinking, oh, it's just gonna be like an hour or two. He literally stayed up 7 hours playing the campaign for this one level on Warframe. And there were, like, no saves. I could not do that. No. I'm probably saying that wrong. I do apologize. But I could never get myself into that game. Now, I've played a variety of games on this channel. I've played Total War, I've played Content Warning, I've played Lethal Company. I've played a few random games, but those were the main ones I'd really played on the... Oh, I played Choo Choo Charles. How could I forget about that one? I'm gonna say, for y'all that's watching this, the first 20 minutes of that live stream, I was stuck under a building because of Choo Choo Charles wouldn't leave me alone. It was... I honestly don't remember if I got mad or not. I got irritated. I remember that. Okay, thank you. Dragon was just telling me I was saying it right. Oh. Looks like one of my cats. Yeah. Sorry. But anyway. I probably just got on. I'm off topic of this and all that. I was gonna ask this one last time. Does anyone have any questions of the series? This series, any other series, a series I've done, projects perhaps. Like, you can go ahead and ask me away. What are the cats' names? Diogi and Malvi. Those are my cats' names. So, I'm just glad they didn't interrupt me during the video. What is it? Well, anyway, let me take care of these. Y'all have a nice night. Thank you for watching this live stream. And if you're not subscribed, think about subscribing, and please leave a like on the video, and watch the video when it comes out. Thank you for joining me for this live stream. Green Kenobi out.